We now have next Stephen Farren, and his talk is titled "You're Safe, AI Can't Do It All." Stephen has been working in the field of English language teaching for almost 20 years. He has spoken at various ELT conferences in the past about the use of authentic materials in the classroom. Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay, hi, happy to be here. So when I was putting the proposal for the talk, like one of the first things I kind of thought about was everyone's going to have a positive slant on AI or come from it from the perspective of using it. So I thought, well, what can I do differently? And I thought, well, it's very important for us to remember ourselves as teachers. So I thought, well, let's accept that we're going to use AI. Let's accept that AI is something that is actually a benefit for us. It's a tool. We all know that. They're very, very positive uses, but let's also remember who we are and what we bring to the show. So, just to give you an example, as time kind of came closer to today, I started to write out like some of the things I was going to talk about. So, say for example, 1 minute lesson plans and materials. I mean, pointless, right? AI's got that. Instantaneous automated assessment, done. AI's got that. AI sounding human. This one I was very confident about. And then I met Miles and Maya. I don't know if you've had the pleasure yet with the Sesame app, but I mean it's incredible what they can do. So again, human sounding AI, done. Then the last one I thought I had action figures. I mean, we could create action figures ourselves as teachers in the classroom with Play-Doh, etc. But no, AI also took that. So what are we left with? I mean, I guess we're left with like some core skills, and the first one that I would like to talk about, is empathy, right? And in terms of empathy, AI can't feel what a student feels, right? And when I do talk about this, we're not a counterpoint to AI, right? I mean, this is obvious. AI can't feel, but let's remember that we can see what a student's going through. If a student's physically upset, we can deal with it. If you think about, if you prepare a lesson, say, about families, I mean, I've had this burn me in the past, completely accidentally, by preparing like a standard lesson, going through different family types, and then using a song. And thankfully, I had a writing activity to back it up at the end, but as we were going through the lesson, I noticed a student getting physically, upset, but kind of keeping it to herself. And I didn't know why, and she was a new student, so I didn't want to broach it in front of the class. So as she was leaving, I kind of took her aside and asked her how she felt, and she said, no, I'm okay, the lesson was fine, it wasn't anything you did. I found out in the writing that her mum died recently, and having the family lesson obviously triggered feelings, right? I mean, understandably, and I felt terrible, but she actually said that the way that we did the lesson and the song that we used made her feel really happy about her mum's memory, and she wasn't crying because she was sad. She was crying, not in a positive way, but she was very happy with it. Sorry. And then also, like, learning thrives when students feel cared about. Like, so we're in some ways we're their emotional safety net. Should we be? I mean, that's a different discussion, but I mean we are. The second thing I'd like to talk about is trust. And trust being the foundation of meaningful learning. I mean, classes don't really work if students don't have trust in teachers. AI doesn't build trust, right? I mean, it can't. It doesn't remember struggles. It doesn't remember how students overcame difficulties. I also teach a lot of exam classes. Think about the IELTS journey, right? I mean, I've over the last 10 years, I've taught so many students who have done IELTS, not because they want to, but because they have to. And they're coming from medical backgrounds where IELTS is not really relevant to anything in their profession. And it's a struggle. And I think trust helps a lot here because like you build it over time, it creates consistency, you're sharing the challenge together, and you're showing genuine empathy again towards what they're going through. And students who are already coming in with like a negative concept of IELTS, as my example, are more open to trying and doing their best if they trust that you're there with their best interests at heart, helping them as you go along. The next thing I'd like to talk about is cultural understanding. Language is rooted in culture, right? If anybody who has seen anything that I have created, you'll know that culture is key to everything that I do. I work at IH Belfast, and a lot of what I create is related to Ireland, Northern Ireland, or cultures. I mean, if you see me on LinkedIn, I post a meme, or not a meme, sorry. That's your thing. My thing's a little bit different. I post idioms, sorry. Every day that are connected to Ireland in some way, right? And I mean, AI, I've used AI at times to help, and it's funny, like funny things happen. It translates words that are not exactly right. I'm sure we've all seen this making lesson plans with phrasal verbs. What's the first thing you do? Double check the context, because often AI, or if we're using ChatGPT as the example here, it'll give you the phrasal verb, but it might not give you the right definition. So like these things always need to check. I had some fun with my idioms where when they were colloquial, AI was lost. Like I'll give you 2 examples. I actually invented one. It was like chasing polar bears, right? It doesn't exist. AI told me it did. I can't find evidence of this anywhere. When I asked it, was it real? It said no, right? But the initial response was, this is a real thing. This is an idiom, right? And I mean, that's absolutely fine. As teachers, we know you second guess and you question and you check, right? Another one, like I'm from Donegal, but I spent a lot of my life growing up in Derry. And I live specifically in a place called Rosemount, which is it's very close to Craigan if you've ever been in Derry. And we have an idiom for, like, if somebody's lost or we don't know where they are, we kind of say, they're up a tree in Rosemount, right? And when I wanted to use this for my St. Patrick's Day week of, like, only Irish idioms, AI couldn't help me. It had never heard of it, because I wasn't, it's an older idiom, so I wasn't exactly sure how to translate it, so I mean, I needed help, and AI is a great assistant, right? And it was interesting because it literally had no idea of the idiom at all. And it's just to highlight the fact that culturally we bring ourselves to the lessons, and AI can't really do that. The teachers honour culture, like we resonate on a personal level, and without cultural nuance, education is a little bit flat. The next one is inspirational motivation. I guess we all have one teacher, right? Like my teacher was a guy called Mr. Wilkins. He was an English guy in secondary school, and my love of English was definitely driven by his enthusiasm and his inspiration. I had a really weird moment as an adult where I went into a second-hand bookshop and I found some of his poetry books. How did I know they were his? He had his name in the cover. And it turned out there were about 30 or 40 books here, right? And I mean, and that in itself is a story. Why were the books there? What happened to him? I mean, I don't know. I don't have these answers. But it made me think about it more. I bought all of the books. I'm not going to lie. And it started a journey into beat poetry. And like reading like in a way that I probably never would have read. And this is 10 to 15 years after I first met him. So I mean, he was back in my life as a phantom book, but I mean, it still had an influence. And it round circled in the sense that I wrote a poem about it, and I had that poem published. So whether or not I meet him ever again, I have a poem that is now in a book in memory of this teacher who inspired me. And that highlights how important teachers are to learning, right? AI has no passion or reason. It's a program. It can't, right? It doesn't say, I believe in you. Like, when I decided to do English literature at university, another English teacher brought me to the library and just gave me loads of books and said, read these, read these, read these. Like, he was invested in me doing well even after I left him, because he was interested and wanted to promote English and English language and learning. So, and I think this is something we sometimes forget motivation isn't just rewards and feedback. Motivation is often from the energy of another person. And as teachers, I mean, again, rightly or wrongly, we bring the energy. That's just how it is. Classes react to how active we are, how enthusiastic we are. So we model a love of learning, and like we push through obstacles. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. I mean, there's times while I'm speaking now, I know I'm making mistakes in my head due to nervousness. This is part of life, right? How often have we made a mistake on a board? And we've just said to the students, oh yeah, well done, you found it. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I meant that spelling mistake. You know, I mean, we've all done that. But it leads on to like the final point, and my final point is growth mindset. I mean, embracing failures and viewing challenges as opportunities to improve. I mean, I think that's the most important one, right? That's what AI can help us with, right? It can assist us and aid us in doing that. But we're the only ones that can model it. AI doesn't struggle or grow. It doesn't make mistakes. I mean, now I'm going to contradict myself and say it doesn't, but I told you about a mistake it did make. So it does make mistakes, but often the mistakes are connected to our input. It's what we put into the system that creates the mistake, not the system itself, right? AI doesn't reflect on mistakes. It's just like, have you guys listened to Miles or Maya speaking yet? The voice AI from Sesame. I mean, it's incredible stuff. Like it really is. But I was on a call where it was used once, and Miles was asked to do accents, and the accents weren't great. Like he did a terrible Irish accent. And it was kind of said to him, Miles, I mean, that doesn't sound right. And he tried it again. And it was still terrible, but at no point did he kind of go, oh yeah, you know, you're right, and I don't know what I'm doing here. So it was interesting just to see, like he didn't kind of say I'm wrong. He tried again, and he tried again, and he tried again, which again is a program, of course, right? But teachers, we reflect on our mistakes, I hope. Learning is messy, it's emotional, and it's human, right? And AI is none of these things. Perfect. So just to summarize, so here are my 5 pillars, the 5 things that I take away as us as people, and it's something for us, we should celebrate this, right? Is we have empathy, I hope. Students trust us, again, I like to think so. Cultural understanding. One of the things we talked about at the beginning, just before we started, was living in different countries and the understanding you get of other cultures as well, that you bring that into the classroom, or that's brought into the classroom via the students. We can be inspirational, and we can be motivational, and we are the ones who are modeling a growth mindset. Let's remember that. Let's celebrate us for what we do, and use AI, of course. But thank you.